Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we have a vintage, unmarked aluminum block petrol lighter, roller lighter with sort of a funky little snuffer cap on it. It looks like maybe it was an advertising lighter of some sort. There's some machine work on the other side that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me otherwise. Like most unmarked lighters, you don't really know where they come from. I don't know, somebody might watch this video and say, yeah, I had one of those years ago. I know exactly who made that. But as far as I know, this is just one of a needle in a haystack kind of aluminum block lighter. They're still in drawers and garages and people's bedside tables all over the country, I'm sure. Everywhere I buy lighters, I find aluminum block lighters. It does show wear, scuffs, corrosion. I'm not sure what the proper word is to that kind of age wear on aluminum. Is it corrosion or is it tarnish? You can see there it's like a place for a advertising panel of some sort. And I have seen aluminum block lighters that were unmarked that had advertising on them, so that is possible. Pretty rare though. Probably more likely that it was made from some other stock. I don't know. It's machined or milled fairly well. I mean, it doesn't look like there were a bunch of stops and starts. Looks like it was fairly precision made. So maybe it was an advertising panel. Not a very well finished base to the lighter though. Screw is nice and shiny, and I believe, well, I was about to say chrome plated. It may just be anodized aluminum. It's just not had the wear of the body of the lighter. It's rather narrow but stout. Goes very deep. As I said, that probably is aluminum. It feels pretty light. Definitely has a different look than the body of the lighter though. I've talked in the past about how I believe most of these roller lighters were meant to be used by a right-handed person and tilted when they were sparked. I don't necessarily know if that's the case with this one, although it looks like it's functioning well that way right now. You can see some sort of adhesive, and maybe where some of that adhesive was scratched off. It really does look like there was some sort of a panel or something there. Can't imagine why you would have machined that out. I mean, it's not like that's some kind of really cool or hip design there. Let me put a big old long rectangle on the side of this one. Anyway, has a very long flint spring with a very short screw. As I said, a very narrow fill screw. That sort of looks unfinished there too, but a lot of lighters are like that. The Cygnus are rounded off on that one corner. This one looks to be rounded off a little more here also though than it is on these two sides. This adds to it looking unfinished to me. That was definitely not, the surface there was not finished to any kind of aesthetic appeal or anything like that. Just flat enough that it would sit. Must have been the only qualification there. But I do kind of like the lid. I said it's a funky looking snuffer. Sort of kind of reminds me of the scroll work you see on columns in old government buildings and stuff like that. It kind of is an overstatement to me. That didn't need to be near that long or hang over near that far, but it does. Sort of like the bill of a cap sticking out there. The file wheel and roller, can't tell exactly, but it looks to me like this file wheel is just pressed over it, or maybe pressed, I'm not sure. The file wheel is pressed over that somehow, but I'm not sure exactly what the mechanism was. It would have just about had to have gone into the roller for this to have worked that way, rather than just fit over the top otherwise. Or maybe it's three pieces, I don't know. I would have to be able to see it, and I'm not going to try to damage it taking it apart when I don't even understand exactly how it's being held together, especially when it works. If it didn't work, then it'd be a different story, but it does. I talked earlier about the mill work there, and you can see it's the hole for your wick is rather small in that it is flattening some of the wick as we go here. You also have the area cut out for the file wheel. It sure would be nice when you find these if there was a name attached, if you could give credit to the old fella that designed it, that built it, that put it together, that made his imagination come alive. But I can't do that when there's no marking. I also don't know what I'm going to do. I really have a hard time selling a lighter that doesn't light really reliably, and this one seems like a pretty good lighter. I'm not saying it's not, but I got a bunch of them in there that aren't. So you may see this one on the current eBay listings page listed alone. I may also start listing some of these in groups. Need to start making some money, and also kind of thin out my room in there for a couple of bigger projects that I have in the works. So really cool looking, especially if you just look at the front of it. Really cool looking old aluminum block Petrol lighter, most likely from the late 1940s or 1950s. I think probably had some advertising on it at one time, and the manufacturer did not want to take credit for it. Until next time.